Sims for Machinima, The Railway Children, Chapter 9, The Pride of Perks. I've sold another chickies, the one about the king of the mussels, so there'll be buns for tea. You can go and get it as soon as they're baked. About 11, isn't it? Mother, would you mind if we didn't have buns for tea tonight, but on the 15th? That's next Thursday. I don't mind when you have them, dear, but why? Because it's Perk's birthday. He's 32, and he says he doesn't keep his birthday anymore, because he's got other things to keep, not rabbits or secrets, but the kids and the missus. You mean his wife and children?
Yes, it is the same thing, isn't it?
And we thought we'd make a nice birthday for him. He's been so awfully jolly decent to us, you know. Mother, and we agreed that next Bun Day we'd ask you if we could.
But suppose there hasn't been Bun Day before the 15th.
Oh, then we meant to ask you, let us it and go without when Bun Day came.
Anticipate. I see, certainly. It would be nice to put his names on the buns with pink sugar, wouldn't it?
Perks, it's not a pretty name.
His other name's Albert. I asked him once.
There are always flowers, of course.
He's lots of flowers on his own.
But it's always nice to have them given to you, however many you got of your own. We can use the flowers for the trimmings for their birthday, but there must be something to trim besides buns.
Let's all be quiet and think. No one's to speak until it's thought of something.
Hooray, I got it!
What?
Why, Perks is so nice to everybody. There must be lots of people in the village who'd like to help make him a birthday. Let's go around and ask everybody.
Mother said we want to ask people for things.
For ourselves, she meant, silly, not for other people.
Let's ask Mother first.
Oh, what's the use of bothering Mother about every little thing? Especially when she's busy. Come on, let's go down to the village now and begin.
Sometime later.
Mine's tomorrow, and much notice anyone will take of it. Go along with you.
Sometime later.
Sarnovosh? Yepso. Aha! Baby. Aha. Huh. Ooh.
There's no harm in it, but depends on how you do it. I only hope he won't be offended and think it's charity. Poor people are very proud, you know.
It isn't because he's poor. It's because we're fond of him.
I'll find some things that Phyllis has outgrown, if you are quite sure you can give them to him without his being offended. I should like to do some little thing for him because he's been so kind to you. I can't do much because we are poor ourselves. What are you writing, Bobby? Nothing particular. I'm sure he'd like the things, Mother. Sometime later.
Good morning.
Here, stop a bit. Those roses.
Did you like them? They were fresh as fresh. I made them the needle book, but it was Bobby's present.
Use your basket. I dare say the Perks children will like them.
You are an old dear. Perks will be pleased.
He won't be half so pleased as I was with your needle book and tying pretty flowers and all. You good little souls that you are. Look here. I've got a pram round the back in the wood lodge. It got for my Emmy's first. That lived but 6 months, and she never had but that one. I'd like Mrs. Perks to have it. Would you be a help up to her with that great boy of hers? Will you take a little long?
Oh!
Well, there is. I don't know what I've given it to her before if I thought of it. Only I didn't quite know if she'd accept it from me. You tell her it was my Emmy's little one pram.
Oh, isn't it nice to think there's going to be a real-life baby in it again?
Yes, here. I'll give you some peppermint cushions for the little ones. And then you run along before I give you the roof off my head and then they'll close back.
Let's change it. Down in a minute. I'm a bit late changing this. I only meant to having an extra clean-up day. Long old Perk's having the name as being his birthday. I don't know what put into his head thinking of such a thing. We keep the children's birthdays, of course, but him and me, we're too old for such like, as a general rule.
We knew it was his birthday, and we got some presents outside in the perambulator.
Oh, don't. Oh, please don't.
Please.
Don't you mind me? I'm alright. Like it, it's a birthday, such as Perk's never had. Not even when he was a boy and stayed with his uncle, who was a corner chandler in his own account. Failed afterwards, like it. Oh.
Look here, we're glad you're pleased, but if you go on saying things like that, we must go home. And we did want to stay and see if Mr. Perks is pleased too. Well, we can't stand this.
I won't say another single word. That needn't stop me from thinking it forever.
Can we have a plate for the buns?
For a prince to think of me getting a place totally early and then little ones getting the wallflowers. Oh, never did I think there'd be anything more for him except an announced pet particular. And then been saving up for him since. Bless us, he is early.
Oh, let's hide in the back kitchen, and you tell him about it. But give him the tobacco first, because you got it for him. And when you've told him, we'll all come in and shout, "Many happy returns!"
Hello, old woman. Here's a pretty set out.
It's your birthday tea. For it, and it's an ounce of extra party. I got it on Saturday along with all happenings to remember it was your birthday.
Good old girl. But what's that pram doing here? And what's all these bundles? And where did you get the sweet stuff? And...
Whatever shall we do? I forgot to put the labels on the things. He won't know what it's from. He'll think it's all us, and we're trying to be grand or charitable or something horrid.
Hush.
I don't care. I won't stand it, and so I tell you straight.
But it's them children that made such a fuss about, the children from the three chimneys.
I don't care. Not if it was an angel from heaven. We've got on all right all these years, and no favors asked. I'm not going to begin these sorts of charity goings-on at my time of life, so don't think you think it, Nell.
Oh, hush, Bert. Shut your silly tongue, for goodness sakes. All three of them's in the wash house are listening to every word you speaks.
Then I'll give them something to listen to. I've spoke my mind to them afore now, and I'll do it again. Come out! Come out and tell me what you mean by it. I've never complained to you before short. As you come this charity lay over me?
Oh, I thought you'd be so pleased. I'll never try to be kind to anyone else as long as I live. No, I won't, not ever.
We didn't mean any harm.
It ain't what you mean so much as what you does.
Oh, don't. We thought you love it. We'd always have things on our birthdays. Oh, yes, your own relations. That's different. Oh, no, not our own relations. All the servants always gave us things at home, and us to them when it was their birthdays. And when it was mine, Mother gave me the brooch like a buttercup. Mrs. Viney gave me 2 lovely glass pots, and nobody thought she was coming to charity lay over us.
If it had been glass pots here, I wouldn't have had said so much. It's all this being heaps and heaps of things I can't stand. No, nor won't neither.
But they're not all from us. We forgot to put the labels on. They're from all sorts of people in the village.
Who put 'em up to it? I'd like to know. So you've been round telling the neighbors we can't make both ends meet? Well, now you've disgraced us as you can in this neighborhood. And you can just take the whole bag of tricks back where it came from. Very much obliged, I'm sure. I don't doubt but when you mean it. But I'd rather not be acquainted with you any longer if it's all the same to you.
Look here, this is most awful.
That's what I says.
Look here, we'll go if you like, and you don't need to be friends with us anymore if you don't want, but...
We shall always be friends with you, however nasty you are to us.
Be quiet.
But before we go, do let us show you the labels we wrote on the things.
I don't want to see no labels except proper luggage ones in my own walks of life. Do you think I've kept respectable and outer debt on what I gets? And her having to take in washing To be give away for a laughingstock to all the neighbors?
Laughing? You don't know.
You're a very nasty gentleman. You know you were wrong once before about us not telling you the secret about the Russian. Do let Bobby tell you about the labels.
Well, go ahead.
Well then, we wrote down all the things everybody said when they gave us things with the people's names because Mother said we ought to be careful but I wrote down what she said and you'll see.
Don't you upset yourself, Missy. I know you meant well. Meant it kind if he doesn't.
May I read the labels? Mother's first. It says, little clothes for Mrs. Perks' children. Mother said you're quite sure Mr. Perks wouldn't be offended and think it's meant for charity. I'd like to do some little thing for him because he's been so kind to you. I can't do much because we're poor ourselves.
That's all right. Your ma's a born lady. We'll keep the little frocks and whatnot, Nell.
Then there's a perambulator and the gooseberries and the sweets. They're from Mrs. Ransom. She said, I dare say Mr. Perks' children would like the sweets. And the perambulator was got for my Emmy's first. It didn't live but 6 months, and she'd never had but that one. I'd like Mrs. Perks to have it. It would be a help with her to find boy. I'd have given it in before if I'd been sure she'd accept it from me. She told me to tell you that it'd been her Emmy's little one's pram.
I can't send that pram back, Bert, and I won't. So don't you ask me.
I'm not asking anything.
Then the shovel. Mr. James made it for you himself, and he said, where is it? Oh, yes, here. He said, you tell Mr. Perks it's a pleasure to make a little travel for you, as a man so much respected. And then he said he'd wished he'd show your children and his own children, like they do the horses, because, well, he knew what shoe leather was.
James is a good enough chap.
Then the honey and the bootlaces. He said he respected a man that paid his way, and the butcher said the same, and the old turnpike, the woman said many was a time that you lent her a hand with her garden when you were a lad, and things like that came home to roost. I don't know what she meant, and everybody who gave anything said they liked you, and it was a very good idea of ours, and nobody said anything about charity or anything horrid like that. And the old gentleman gave Peter a good pound for you, and said you were a man who knew your work. And I thought you'd love to know how fond people were of you, and never was so unhappy in my life. Goodbye. I hope you forgive us someday.
Stop! I take back every word I said contrary to what you'd wish. Nell, set on the kettle.
We'll take the things away if you're unhappy about them, but I think everybody will be most awfully disappointed as well as us.
I'm not unhappy about them. I don't know. I don't know as if I was ever better pleased. Not so much with the present, though. They're an A1 collection. But the kind respect of our neighbors, that's worth having. Eh, now?
I think it's all worth having, and if you made a ridiculous fuss about nothing, Bert, if you ask me.
No, I ain't. If a man didn't respect himself, no one would do it for him.
But everyone respects you. They all said so.
I knew you'd like it when you really understood.
Humph! You'll stay to tea?
May the garland of friendship be evergreen.
Some time later.
Jolly good little kids, those.
Oh, they're all right, bless their hearts. It was you, the aggravatingest old thing that ever was. I was ashamed of you, I tell you.
You didn't need to be, old gal. I climbed down handsome as soon as I understood it wasn't charity, but charity what I'll never abide, and won't neither.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to press the like button and subscribe because if you do, you will love pink.